So are you living the American dream where you have more month than you have money, where you can't seem to get ahead no matter how hard you try? Have you considered economic relocation? We're going to talk about that today. Hi, welcome to the Groovy Adventures of Jeff and Sonny, where our groovy adventure is retiring early, simplifying, and traveling the world. We're figuring it out. Anyway, we're going to talk about something called economic relocation today. So, what is that?
I kind of figured it out from Dave Ramsey. He talked about doing this economic relocation. What I found out was that it's actually moving to a place with a lower cost of living, maybe a smaller house, just downsizing or moving around so that you can save some money in the long run.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I guess you got to kind of think of it as a stepping stone. It doesn't have to be your forever home. You don't have to go someplace that you think you're going to end up living for the rest of your life. Just something that's going to help you get over the hump and maybe end up with more money at the end of the month than month at the end of the money. And it's an opportunity to kind of simplify. I think most of us realize that it's not about the stuff. It's about sort of living your life and all of the experiences you have and maybe getting rid of a lot of that stuff. So I guess why? It's always good to kind of step outside of your comfort zone. They say you grow when you push those boundaries of comfort. So and we've definitely found that.
Yeah, it's been good for us.
Yeah, and one of the main benefits about it was sort of cashing in on a hot housing market. The town we came from was booming in terms of real estate, and it just seemed like a good time maybe to sell and take advantage of that equity and pay off some of our debt. It made a big difference, really.
Yeah, and we originally thought that we would downsize to save some money, but it ended up that the area we chose, we didn't have to downsize.
We got kind of actually a newer, bigger house for less money, and we're able to pay off student loans and all that, so it worked out perfect for us. And when choosing an area, you want to check places like websites like Numbeo to check what the cost of living is and see what their taxes are like, so you're not going someplace with high taxes.
It'll give you utility costs and all the things that you have on your budget. You can pull those up on, is it Numbeo? Numbeo. I can never remember.
Numbeo.
And it kind of gives you an idea of you can set up a mock budget, and you can see how much you're going to maybe save by setting that up.
And you can enter the town that you live in and then compare it to whatever town you're thinking about, and it'll tell you basically what the difference is in cost of living. So it makes it pretty easy.
How did we do it?
How did we do it? Well, you got to research the area using Numbeo and other things. And of course, you've got to get a job, so you need to check out the job market and see if there's something in your line of work or what have you, and see what the opportunities are there, and sell your stuff. And we sold pretty much all of our stuff. We had a 5x8 trailer that if it didn't fit in there or in the back of our Tahoe, we got rid of it.
Well, we either sold it or gave it away.
Yeah, we got rid of it.
We got rid of it. However we did it, we got rid of it.
Yeah. And doing that, getting rid of most of the stuff reduces your moving costs, so you're not having to rent, U-Hauls and everything, and because that gets expensive doing that. So.
Let me ask you, do you miss the stuff that we got rid of?
No.
Do you even remember what we got rid of?
No, for the most part. Every once in a while, I wonder why we brought this and didn't bring that.
Yeah.
I think at the end we were just like, get rid of it, or here's a little spot I can shove something else in the car or something. So we ended up bringing some things that I don't know why, and then other things I'm like, why didn't we bring that? So there's a few things. You're always going to run into that kind of stuff, though.
Yeah.
Overall, though, it's been great, and we've got cabinets here in this new house that don't have anything in them, and that's perfect. So.
And one of the reasons we we decided to go ahead and get rid of everything was because, well, one, you can start fresh and simplify and get rid of a lot of crap. The other was that it actually kind of cut back on our moving expenses, because we were going to have to spend, I think it was like $5,000 to rent a U-Haul because we were coming across country. And we decided that we could probably go around to thrift stores or, things on sale, Walmart, whatever it was, and get everything we needed cheaper than spending that much money for the U-Haul. So, and we were happy to get rid of our stuff and start over. So.
Yeah, and I think it worked out. I think it was perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to look at the whole economic picture and not just the cost of living in the area. Make sure you check out what the wages are in the area, because often if the cost of living is lower, the wages are going to be a little lower too. That's what we found when we moved here. We're in northwest Arkansas near Bentonville, and the cost of living is really low here. The locals don't think so, but
No.
you always think it's bad where you're at. But the wages are a little lower too. But it still worked out in our favor, I think. It's a lot of it had to do, I think, with being able to sell our house and make good money on that. But overall, it's been a lot better.
I think that's where it's important to, again, set up that mock budget, because you could look and see what the wages are going to be, what your expenses might be. It'll give you a good idea anyway of how that's going to look on paper.
And figure out how much debt you're going to be able to get rid of, by cashing out on the equity of your home.
Right.
And that's going to save you a lot of money, and so your wages don't have to be as high.
Right.
And then check out what there is to do. You don't want to go someplace that you're not going to enjoy living, at least for a few years. You got to be able to do things there. So check out the activities in the area, and check out if you have kids. Check out the schools. Obviously, we found here in northwest Arkansas, there's a lot of hiking and biking trails. It's the mountain bike capital of America. Mm-hmm. Who knew? Arkansas. Anyway, so yeah. Not that I mountain bike anymore. That ends badly when I do that.
Yeah, that's another story.
That's another story too, yeah.
That maybe you don't want to hear.
We'll have a beer sometime and talk about it. So there's lots of stuff to do here. There's museums and music venues, and it's been good.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're gonna look around, I would check out Northwest Arkansas. They're not paying us to say that, but cost of living here is pretty nice. In fact, we're getting ready to retire and spend the first 3 months traveling around the country, and we've been working on the budget of how much that's going to cost us. And every time we look at these areas we're going to be going through, no matter where they're at, because we're going from here up the East Coast and then back to the West Coast, the lowest cost of living is here in Arkansas. So
yeah. Every time we get on the website to compare the two cities, then that's what we find is that we got pretty good cost of living here.
Yeah, we lucked out.
Yeah.
Because we kind of picked it as a fluke. It wasn't like, oh, let's look around. Our friends said, you want to move to Arkansas? We said, okay. So we were kind of locked into Arkansas. We didn't look around, but it seems like we made a good choice.
Yeah. Although sometimes we look at each other and go,
what the hell are we doing?
What are we doing in Arkansas? But it's been good for us. It's been really good for us in so many ways.
Some cities will actually provide incentives to move there. When we were looking at this area, mm-hmm. they had if you were coming here and you could bring a business, and there was some other criteria, they'd actually pay you $10,000 and give you a mountain bike.
Give you a mountain bike, yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't get the mountain bike, but
we put in for it.
We did. Still came. And good ways to sort of investigate the areas, like YouTube. We got on YouTube, and actually that's how we found our realtor. He had his own YouTube channel, and he would just have YouTube videos on the different areas here, sort of like
what there is to do.
Yeah, it wasn't really a real estate thing. He was just kind of like, hey, this is cool in this town and this town, and yeah, we looked forward to the videos and got to know the area before we got here, and it's a good way to go.
Yeah.
And then I recommend doing a scouting trip.
Yeah, we did that. We flew out here and
we came out in January. So
we figured if we liked it in January, then we would probably like it the rest of the year.
Yeah. Probably the most important part, though, is once you get to your new location, is stick to your budget. There's a reason you ended up having to economically relocate in the first place.
Right.
Don't go there and make the same mistake just because your expenses are lower or you've got more money now.
Yeah.
Because your debt's gone.
Yeah. Stick to that budget. Otherwise you're going, woohoo, I got extra money. I can go out to dinner extra.
Yeah.
But,
we did a bit of that.
We did.
Our first month or two here, it was like vacation time, and let's try all the restaurants. Let's do all that. But yeah, we figured it out. That's not a good idea. So.
Yeah. If you want to know more about budgeting and stuff, let me know in the comments. I've done a lot of research on budgeting and set up a lot of budgets.
She's a whiz.
Over the last few years. So if you're interested in that, from the basics of budgeting to all of the other looking at numbers and stuff like that, then let me know. And I can go over that. We can do a video on that too.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Right.
Well, like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you know when we put out our next video. And thanks for coming and tuning in. And yeah, huevos rancheros.
Yeah, goodbye.